Just wanted to take a minute to show you guys one of my favorite parts of this quail corral that I came up with. So this was originally a rabbit hutch that was totally torn apart. I rebuilt it basically and then used the pieces to create it. But what I did is also since I had to fix the roof anyways, I put it on hinges. And that way, gathering eggs is going to be super easy. I'm not killing my back. I'm literally standing up, barely bent over. I just lift the roof was thrashed. I either had to rebuild it. I had to put it back together again anyways. So I figured, put it on some hinges. And I put up a little door right there that I take out. When I'm here, I want to block the birds out of there. And as you can see, she wants to know why she can't get in. She's actually one of my original, so she's probably about almost 3 years old, 2.5 years old. But so this will be very easy to get their eggs, and it's easy for me to, throw some more wood chips in here or whatever I'm using for their nesting area. But super easy way to gather their eggs. Over here, this is one of my favorite things too, is making sure that they have enough water in this desert. And let me see if there's any in there because I don't have the door up. Okay. So if you can see, these are the waterers that we made. Everything's wet in here because I just hosed it all out and gave them new water. So I ordered these little cups. I think they're great. They work fantastic. And then I got these Tupperware containers and made them into it. So I lined this with bricks in here for the very reason that I just did, is I can just open this lid, hose it off, and clean it all out. Because the one thing that really sucks is they kick up a lot of, when they scratch at the ground, they kick up a lot of dirt, and it really always goes in your waters and everything. And if any big debris gets underneath those yellow little stick things there, that's what they have to hit in order to make the water come out. The bowls are only filled up right now because I just rinsed everything out. But in order for them to make the water come out, they have to go peck at that. If there is any debris under that, it won't be able to go down, which means the bird won't be able to get water. So you'll see that your containers are full, but that bird will not be able to get water. So being able to just open this lid and shoot it with the hose really fast is so easy and so fast. And then they're not going to get that debris in there because we have a stone floor, a brick floor instead of dirt where it's getting kicked up. It's another reason why I made a watering shed. As keeping their water cool is also another issue with the heat here in Arizona. Also, that's where you're going to get your algae and stuff, and your feeders are going to get gross. This way, I can fill those up, and I can leave for a few days even. I know that their waterers are going to be just fine. So it's a great little thing. It's super easy to do. And let's say that someone else is coming over to take care of my birds for me. This is not hard. They just put the little door up, then they don't have to worry about any quail going in there, which they don't anyways, but when you're in there. And then they can just fill it up with a hose. And the easier it is for someone to take care of your animals, the more likely it is everything's going to go well. And then I know I posted pictures about these feeders. We made 3 of them. That holds literally a month's worth of feed for these 10 girls. When I get more, it'll probably be more. You can see they're in there. I put little boxes of sand in there for them. It's like quail crack. They absolutely love it. But these particular feeders, I've tried every feeder known to mankind. I really like these. They have to stick their head. Let me see if I can they have to stick their head inside there and peck at the ground to get the food. And so that way they're not spilling it everywhere, which they do, which then increases how many rodents come, everything else. And it's pretty protected from the elements as well. So these feeders, I think, are just the best. We just got these plastic containers. You buy the little red thing, it comes with the whole little kit, and you can put it in any container you want. People put them in trash cans, big huge 5-gallon ones. They have them for chickens, you know, I mean, it's pretty cool. Let me see if I can get a good shot in between the bars of them in there. They love sand. So I put boxes of sand in there so they can do their dust bath. I put it also on this end of the quail enclosure because I want it as far away from the water as possible. Keeping their water clean is such, in the long run, so much easier for us, like as the keepers. So having anything with the dirt going away from it is ideal. Now I do want to talk about why you will see me, I think the versatility of these birds is truly amazing. So I want to talk about why I keep them this is actually a working compost pile is what this is, and the birds are part of that process. And there's a reason that I do it this way. There's so many ways to raise quail that it's amazing. So it really depends on what your reasons are for doing it. Here's one right here. Let's see if I can get it better through the bars. But because the light is really in the bars. Okay, here we go. I keep them on this because it's the easiest way for me. These quail are helping me compost. So, and when I keep them on the ground like this, their poop does not smell. I'm not having to empty a bunch of poop trays, and poop smells a lot worse when it's on those trays, let me tell you. I come by here and throw in clippings from my yard. You can see there's artichoke that went to seed I threw in there. They love anything dried up. I have some artichoke leaves in there. Whatever clippings from my yard I throw in there. I love to throw mint and rosemary and everything in there. It literally makes everything smell so good. And then once a year, I open this up, take all the soil out, fertilize my other plants with it, and give these guys more stuff to compost. So for me, it worked out so much easier. It's a labor thing for me. I have nothing. I think it's fine if people raise quail in cages because they're in a small area or something. These birds are great in small areas. They really are. So, they don't need a lot. They don't even want a lot. This is a very big enclosure for just 10 little birds. But this was just the easiest way for me. And also, you know, I mean, I'm not a bird farm where I have 200 or 10,000 birds or something. Obviously, you're going to have to do things different. But for me, as a little backyard quail enthusiast, it was just the easiest thing to do. Also, I think it's more enjoyable. One of the things that I really enjoyed about owning chickens was that I could sit out and watch them. I mean, they were better than watching TV. I could be out there for hours. But when they were in cages, it wasn't really like fun to watch them. They're not in their natural habitat. They're not scratching at the ground and running around. Like it just wasn't enjoyable for me to watch them because my purpose for them was different than just mass production. So it's just because it's what I needed to do. Obviously, you can't do this with thousands of birds. So but for a little backyard setup that you want to enjoy and enhance your garden and be able to walk out and get some eggs and stuff, they're great. They're super quiet. As you can see, we've been out here. You can't even hear them. I'm going to be quiet for just a minute, get right up to them. And even when they do make noises, their noises are so relaxing. I've actually tried to get the sounds on video before, but it's so low that you actually can't even record it, or I haven't been able to, I should say. But you will see how absolutely silent these birds are. Like nobody will ever know that you have them, unless of course you have a rooster. But Yeah, so I'm just going to be completely quiet and I'll go right next to him. You might hear the wild birds around me, but you won't hear these guys. Hi, girls. Hi, girls. Literally, they're silent. Especially if they're happy. They're making their little noise. I can hear it, but I'm sure you guys probably can't hear it on this video. I've tried numerous times. But yeah, I mean, they're great little birds. And this is honestly just a really enjoyable and easy way to keep them. And it was super cheap. I mean, I think these were $9. I mean, obviously I already had the planter built, but we just topped it off with a 2x4 and some 1x2s. And I already had the hardware cloth. I do like black. You know, you could spray paint your hardware cloth or buy the black one. It's very expensive if it already has that, but you could literally, if you already have it, paint it black, roll it or something. Spray paint it, obviously it'd be great, but I can't seem to do that without getting it all over everything. But I think it makes it, you can see through it better. As a matter of fact, I have a Quonset hut. I'm going to be refashioning into a Quail tractor to do the weeds in my yard, which I have a ton of right now because of my yard going to hell from my whole cancer nightmare. But if you see, that Quonset hut is made out of the regular hardware cloth, and the door is made out of the black. And you can, it seems to not obscure it as much. And I really like to be able to see, and I know right now is horrible lighting because of the way the sun's coming in here on these, on this hardware cloth right now. But I really want to see the birds. They're beautiful, and especially the birds that I'm going to be getting in here soon. I cannot wait. They're gorgeous, so it's really nice. I like to come out here, bring a chair, sit down next to them, and just watch them. I mean, it's just like watching them dig around and hear their little noises, and it's very enjoyable the way I have it set up for a backyard quail keeper. Like, that just wants, they add to the whole mojo, of my what I'm trying to create. So that's why I do the things that I do. But I mean, they're so versatile. I swear, just so versatile and so easy to maintain. And for me, having them living on my compost pile and making it, I don't have to get fertilizer and go buy soils and stuff. These guys are doing it for me. I also don't, this is where my yard waste goes, which is huge. I had a lot of yard waste. When you're really an avid gardener or something like that, you have a ton of it. And instead of having to like get an extra trash can for that, it's all going back in here. And I know there was no pesticides on it. I know there's no poison or weed killers or anything like that. So they eat it, they turn it into compost, and they rip it apart, and they actually help it go so much faster. I get a ton from these birds. So I highly suggest it. I do. I think it's really neat. If you could had, even if you don't have a whole backyard. I mean, I live in an HOA, so even if you don't have a whole backyard, but you have, enough space for a little cage with some girls in it that, are totally quiet, 4 or 5 of them, and you come out and gather their eggs in the morning and, make yourself an omelet and sit there eating it next to them, watching them with their antics. It's a really enjoyable, cheap, easy way. They are production birds, even though they're small. So, they are going to poop more and stuff. They're not like owning a cockatiel. But they definitely don't produce as much waste as chickens because they are smaller. So feed is a lot cheaper for me. There's not so much to contend with. And I can have one adult quail to 1 square foot, whereas it's, 10 feet square feet for one chicken. So, you know, I don't have a choice. I have to, the only birds I can keep here are quail, because I am in an HOA. But even when I do get land, hopefully someday, I will always have a place on my farm for quail. They're just such a great production bird. How fast they turn around. And if I incubated their eggs today, if they were fertile, I would, in 17 days, I would have them, and in 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, they'll already start laying eggs. They're fully grown at 10 weeks, so they can be processed for their meat. Or, I mean, you can literally start incubating their eggs at around 10 weeks. So from, you know, coming out of the egg themselves to being able to produce another bird in 10 weeks, I mean, it's crazy. So you can have a lot of them, and they're just a lot of fun. There's a lot of different colors. There's a whole genetics thing that you can get into with these birds. It's mad science, to say the least. It's super interesting, and you can absolutely get into this in a big way. It'd be a great project for kids that are in 4-H. They could actually come up with their own bloodlines. So quail to me are the untapped new thing. They're definitely the like backyard chicken for HOA, the new backyard chicken for HOA people who live in HOAs. But all the way around, I mean, I think they're good for kids, old people, and anyone that just wants a little bit of country in the city. So this is my setup. And I based it off of my current level of capabilities, which is not much. And I wanted to make sure that it was, you know, cheap. I have a ton of medical bills after battling cancer for the last year. So the last thing I want to do is go into debt on a quail enclosure. So, you know, it wasn't expensive at all. I utilized what I had and just had to top it off with a few things. So is it perfect? No. I got to put some touch-up paint on things after we mounted it, like right there. I need to get some red paint on that. But it's not perfect and it's not done. I'm going to be making a divider because I'm actually going to be putting 2 flocks. So I will be building a house over here for my second flock. But I'm going to have my pharaohs over there and one of my new color flocks over here. I'm not sure what I'm going to be getting yet, but I know I'm getting them. And then these old girls are going to be going in my quail tractor because they're probably pretty past their egg laying days. And so, but because they were the cancer survivors too, they had to spend a year locked in that barn. And so these are the ones that made it. So these ones have a place on my little micro homestead forever. So they will be used in the quail tractor to keep down the weeds and the bugs. So, but I hope that gives you guys some idea of the method behind my madness. Let's see if I can get it there. The camera is so hard to get through, to focus through this hardware cloth. It's truly amazing. You got to lay your phone flat on it and try and get it between the bars. So, but I hope that gives you guys some insight into my crazy quail adventure. And hopefully once I dig my homestead out of the past year of complete and utter neglect, we'll be giving it its new name and we'll be back in business, so to speak. I'm not a business, but back up and running. So I love you guys. Talk to you later, and I hope you found it interesting. God bless.